This lesson in finance has raised some eyebrows, and here joining us with some tips to talk about this for parents, a child psychologist and Rollins professor, Dr. Sharon Carnahan, and certified wealth strategist Kat Dion. Great to see both of you ladies. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, Amy.
All right, so Dr. Carnahan, let's start with you. When you first heard the idea of what this mom is doing, what did you think of it?
My first thought was, congratulations, Mom, for making a plan. So often we careen from crisis to crisis with our children, and we don't think about the long-term plan of parenting, which is to pass our values on to our children. My second thought was, this is a great plan, and when you look into it in detail, you see she's really covered a lot. But developmentally, maybe about 2 years, 3 years too early for this kind of detailed plan. Few 5-year-olds can count to 25. Or 30 in a month, right? But almost every 7-year-old can.
Okay, so I like that. So it's a good idea, but maybe just a little too early for the idea. Kat, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a little bit too young. I mean, you're just learning how to multiply and divide. You're learning what primary colors are. I think that you need to teach kids financial awareness in stages. So maybe in elementary school, you just teach them the basics about buying and getting a receipt and making change. And then when you get to middle school, you teach them about checking accounts, savings accounts, and what a credit card is. I think really you put your focus into high school and, of course, college. In high school, they need to learn how to sign a lease, you know, how to make a budget, what debt management is, and some of the advanced stages of having a credit card. And, you know, the problem is we need to teach more financial literacy in school. You know, my kids, I had to teach them as we went along. You know, you learn as you go, and I think they have to have more financial literacy classes in especially high school and in college.
Okay, so you bring up a good point there, because yeah, Dr. Carnahan, I remember I had to learn how to balance a checkbook when I was in high school, but kids these days aren't learning some very basic skills, and sadly they're not learning it at home either. What's the answer for that?
I teach a college course called Adulting 101, in which we learn in Rollins College, in the beginning of the course, the psychological maturity factors that make for a competent grown-up, but we also use practice skills like developing a sample budget for people at different income levels. I would say that the family has to start young, intentionally sharing their values about what is money and what money means with their children. We used an old box model where we had a box for savings now, a box for long-term savings, and a box you could spend this week. And then if our children managed to save little bits for 3 months, we would double that amount to reward them for savings. And like this family, we put something away for college every week and talked about it with the whole family. It's a question of what your values are and what you're sharing with your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point, because, Kat, right, for every family it's different.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that idea about using the boxes. I think if you look at today's society, kids are on their phones at a young age, so I would look at a number of phenomenal apps and download those on your kid's phone and work with them as they're young, and as they get older, of course, they'll be able to download it for you. And what we'll do is later on I'll tweet some apps that you can look at at Fox 35. So check their Twitter page later, and I'll tweet a few apps that I would recommend. But I totally agree with the doctor, and I love Rollins College. I think that more financial literacy is needed in the classroom, and I think that parents and kids can work together on a Saturday and say, hey, let's spend 20 minutes on this app. Let me show you how to budget. Let me show you what it means to save. I think that if we all work together, our kids can get a good, you know, balance of what financial, you know, literacy means and what it means to them.
Yeah, hopefully keep everybody out of debt in the future. That's the goal. So Great to have you both here. Great discussion. I loved it. Thank you so much, Dr. Carnahan, and of course, Kat. We appreciate you being here this morning.
Thanks. Good to see you.
9:41 right now.